Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It would seem the Batman sequel, not greenlit at all. Warner Brothers and, well, now Warner Discovery, just have utterly no idea what they're doing with DC. They imply that they've got a plan. They act like they've got a plan. They give it the big bravado. And then they greenlight stuff which should have been greenlit before but is now, so I guess that's good. But then they don't greenlight things which clearly should be greenlit just from a monetary perspective. You know, the Batman took fantastic money home for what it was during its time and things like that. And a sequel should be all but confirmed, but it's not officially greenlit. So this information actually all comes from a Variety article, which is very interesting and they reveal quite a lot of stuff. So we'll just sort of dive into this one first and we'll go to the Variety article because they touch on some other bits and pieces. But I mean, this is a joke. So David Zaslav's obviously calling the shots at Warner Brothers Discovery, and there's big changes coming to the DC extended universe. Apparently, we haven't seen any of it. We still don't have a Superman. There's no idea of a Man of Steel 2. They seemingly still greenlit, you know, The Flash, although I've got a video coming up about that. It's a complete shit show, right? It just is. You know, everyone's like, oh, it's shocking that they cancelled Batgirl. It is shocking because it's unprecedented, but people are like, you should release it anyway because she's Latina. No, you shouldn't. Doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. You shouldn't just release a shit product. That's absolutely moronic take on anything. But they talk about this cohesive plan for the DC Comics adaptation universe. But they start talking about, you know, is there any future projects safe? And Variety shared some insights into where things stand with at least one of them, which is the Batman. So the Batman cost over $200 million, right? We know that. It was a big budget for what it was. But it did take home $770 million worldwide, which is a lot of money. I do feel like this film could have been made a bit more on a budget, quite frankly. You know, $200 million for what we got, I think is a little bit excessive. It didn't seem like there was lots of effects. But still, great movie. It was a hit for the studio, we know that. However, Variety is like, yeah, no, there's no progress. It's just in development. It's not been officially greenlit either. So it's just in development. They don't have anything to greenlight. They're just like, yeah, no, it's fine. We're just plodding along through it. Because apparently now, any future film is years away. Years away. How slow do you want to be on these things? Now, I understand that we've got stars and actors and they've got busy schedules. And I understand that Colin Farrell is going to be doing the Penguin series. And I understand that there's going to be a Gotham PD series. But years away for a Batman sequel is just ridiculous. Like, it genuinely is ridiculous. Now, they start talking, you know, Matt Reeves, obviously in the midst of developing a Penguin spin-off, but he's not going to be directing it, he's just developing it. So why on earth this would slow it down is beyond me. You know, they say, of course, that the filmmaker is taking his time to do the follow-up is the reason that the Batman sequel is so far off from becoming a reality. They say that they wouldn't put it past Zaslav to move on. Because, of course, he's pretty bloody ruthless. He is, but he's also a businessman and he wants to make money. So this is the article that it's all coming from. And this is what they say, you know, inside the confusing state of DC, from huge Joker 2 paydays to the search for their Kevin Feige. And yeah, Joker made Todd Phillips so much money, like ridiculous sums of cash, which is great. You know, it deserved to make him loads of money. It was made on a teeny tiny budget and it took so much money worldwide. So yeah, like the person behind that taking the risks, because Warner Brothers didn't take that much of a risk with it. They barely poured any money into it. By comparison, should be making some money from this. Now, you know, here we have it. You know, Zaslav made public what had been reported and rumoured for months that the company had restructured to create a team with a 10-year plan focusing just on DC. Now, that would be similar to the structure of Alan Horn and Bob Iger put together very effectively with Marvel and with their Kevin Feige, obviously, over there as well. Now they say this, the executive who took the reins of the company in April did not disclose who would be part of that team, nor did he acknowledge that Walter Hamada, the executive who's led the DC Films unit since 2018, actually has a long-term plan for DC's cinematic universe and has been in the middle of implementing it. Well, that's bollocks. To imply that Walter Hamada has a plan is just utterly moronic. Of course he doesn't have a plan. Now, while Zaslav's newly announced reset for DC appeared to dismiss Hamada and his team's preparations, or lack of specifics, they don't have preparations. And some mixed signals has created an atmosphere of confusion and rampant speculation over the future of more than a dozen DC film and TV projects already in the pipeline. None of this should have been put in the pipeline. There's so much crap. As it stands, only one new DC feature project currently has a green light post-merger, which is Joker Folie à Deux, which is the sequel to Joker. It's got Lady Gaga in it. It's a musical. I think this is going to be interesting. I'm not one of these people that just mindlessly hating on it because they're like, oh, musical shit, blah, blah, blah. No, I think definitely take some risks, and this could be interesting. It's also, if you could imagine seeing the world through the Joker's eyes and it becoming a musical, I think there's something quite compelling about that. I think that could be interesting. But here's where we get into the interesting element of this, right? Really interesting. This is the money of this stuff, right? So the follow-up to the wildly successful 2019 Joker, which grossed 1.7 or 1.07 billion globally, comes with a much bigger price tag than the first. So both Joaquin Phoenix and director Todd Phillips are believed to be getting $20 million paydays. Now, Todd Phillips, sure, I think deserves that. I don't think Joaquin Phoenix does. He's a good actor. $20 million? I mean, that's Johnny Depp money. I don't think Joaquin Phoenix is that much of a draw. I don't think he's that much of a household name, but I could be wrong. Leave your thoughts down below. Now, they say this, a new co-star Lady Gaga is getting $10 million. Now, the $20 million would be because there's like a linear progression through the contracts. I get that. Lady Gaga is more of a star than Joaquin Phoenix. I'm surprised. Obviously, she's not an actress. She's getting there. But I am surprised to see Lady Gaga getting such a small amount of money. Now, those salaries combined with the cost of producing complicated musical sequences, though one insider stresses Joker 2 is more like A Star is Born than In the Heights, means that the sequel will cost roughly $150 million to produce, which is about double the cost. Just under double the cost. Now, that's still cheaper than most superhero movies, which often cost upwards of $200 million, like The Batman. And this is where we get on to the Batman stuff. This is interesting, right? Now, that cost, upwards of $200 million, $770 million globally taken. They always bang on about the pandemic era. Fuck off, doesn't mean anything. But here we have this. Writer-director Matt Reeves is on track for a sequel with star Robert Pattinson, but the project remains in development and does not yet have a green light. Now, if that's to do with Matt Reeves not sorting out a script quick enough, get on it. Because this took too long to get made in the first place. Way too long. Right? So get on Matt Reeves and push him a little bit. Because if that's what's holding it up, push him. Incentivize him. Because you do have to strike, again that phrase, strike while the iron is hot. The fact that this doesn't have a green light is very worrying, to me anyway. You've got to capture that lightning in a bottle attitude from the general public and to push it forwards. Any future film is years away. Why? Why? Now, several other DC properties have been in development as feature films for some years. For some years? Why? Wonder Woman 3, Superman with Ta-Nehisi the racist coats, and Zatanna. Static Shock. I like Static Shock, actually. I was going to say a lot of this stuff. Just like Wonder Woman 3, sure, I can guess why they're doing it. But Zatanna, I don't see why they're making that. But Static Shock, I really like. Definitely make Static Shock. But we don't have any updates. So, what are you doing as a company here? Honestly, what are you doing? You've got one of the biggest projects you could ever put into production now with your film slate that could actually be cohesive, could actually make some sense. The Batman 2. It's a direct follow-up. Loads of people go out and watch it. Why haven't you greenlit it? And this is worrying. This is very concerning. But it is just, indicative of the systemic problems. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about racism. The systemic problems that lie at the hearts of studios. They're just literally just taking shit from a whiteboard and going, yeah, fine, we'll run with that. Is this stuck to the wall today? Well, we'll just do that. No. have a plan, right? Have a rough plan. If it makes money, quickly go into the phase 2 of the plan. Push it forwards. That's what Marvel does. Very concerning. Massive shame. I really like the Batman. And I don't think the Batman 2 not being greenlit is a concern. And like I said, it's just indicative of the issues at hand with these kind of studios, because they just don't know what they're doing. Now, I really hope Zaslav gets, his finger out of his arsehole and actually pushes stuff forward. Hopefully. I'm hoping what we've got now is the calm before the storm. And the storm being loads of things being greenlit. But let me know what you guys think. Take care. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out my Teespring store. Supporting the channel via this way does go a long way. But also, not only that, you do get to wear some awesome merch. These are one-of-a-kind designs designed for me by my graphic designer. We, of course, have our Clown World line, which is in mugs, hoodies, t-shirts. We've got Space Jeebus. And then for something a little bit different, we, of course, have right down at the bottom right here, we have our Pulsar GTIR. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out and supporting my second channel, which is Car Nonsense. This is a vlog and car channel. You can find links to this in the description box, along with my Teespring. Please do consider supporting.